care who you name. I don't care how much work you did for black
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Life Chat Podcast.
people. Is being committed to a
Tonight I
black
was
woman.
thinking about a couple of different things. I was thinking about one,
That you did for
how
if you really
I can hear your TV in the background.
black woman. So it doesn't
One,
matter
I was
how
thinking
much
about
work-
still on this weather, thinking about the weather, how cold it is outside, and it's freezing right now. And unfortunately, some people are still out there in the elements, just like it is now, with nowhere to go. Some people are out there, still struggling, still stuck in whatever the situation is for them, still stuck in it. This is my segue into the topic for tonight, which is iron sharpens iron. But I just wanted to talk about this, lead into it. Just the fact that I remember, as I shared the other night on my live, I remember being in these situations, being out in this type of weather with barely anything on to keep me warm, just to continue doing what I was doing in my addiction, to continue to try to get one more, to continue to try to feed my habit in this type of weather. And knowing that nothing good was going to cover it, knowing that I really didn't have a place to go to lay my head to get out of the elements, but just being stuck in that process, that part of my life is, I can empathize with the individuals that are going through this now, and being on this side of that, it gives me more of a, I don't want to say understanding, but gives me more of a softer heart of understanding why we do what we do, and not thinking that I got it, because at any given time it could be me again. I just wanted to throw that out there just for some people to understand and just get some kind of, just use a little bit of empathy when you see people in these situations. Just use a little bit of empathy. But anyway, tonight's topic is iron sharpens iron. And I selected this topic because I feel as though we don't share information that, much needed information with our communities, much needed information amongst brothers and sisters, much needed information amongst people in general. And when I say iron sharpens iron, I specifically mean that if we have information, pertinent information that can be useful and beneficial to another individual, we should share this this information to try to help. The goal for that is to help somebody else to move toward succeeding and reaching the goals that they have set for themselves. So with that being said, I also have a very special guest joining us tonight, Mr. Quadree Burden. I call him Q. I know him by Q. Actually, up until a few days ago, I'm sorry, Q, but actually up until a few days ago, I really didn't even know your whole name. I didn't. I just know you as Q. I met you a few months back through a mutual friend, and it was cool. We've been cool since then. We really haven't had a whole lot of interaction, but the interaction that we did have, I knew it was genuine. I felt that you were a genuine individual, and I knew for a fact that you were going to keep it real either way it goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, we have Mr. Quadree Burden. Quadree, can you please give us a little information about who Quadree is, what Quadree's goal is?
Okay. Good evening, Derek, man. Thanks again for inviting me on. What Quadree's goals are. Quadree's goal is, at this point, man, to give back. The goal is, my ultimate goal is to continue to give back. And I say that because I've I feel like I took so much for so long that I it's my obligation to give back. You were talking about individuals out in the cold, and in the cold, hopeless, just trying to figure out, like you said, how to get one more.
Try to get one more.
And I can identify with that, right? Because because I come from that and I've been there. You know, I happen to be a recovering person who like surrendered and made a decision to say like maybe I could do something different. Um,
Maybe maybe,
maybe
yeah.
it wasn't even a whole decision. It was a maybe, man. It was maybe just today. Like I don't have to smoke today, right? And that's how it started, man. Um, but I remember them cold nights. I remember those days with no heat in the house, uh, and a whole lot of other things that we we don't even have to get into, um,
Absolutely.
because that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about solutions today.
Solutions. Yeah. Yeah.
Solutions, uh, information that can resource, uh, and that's my goal is to bring resources and solutions to other people's lives,
That's
because
what
it's given
and that's what
to me.
that's what the top so that's what they lead into it. Iron sharpen iron. So since we're looking for solution and resources, um, what is your role in with the resources, and what is your role in your everyday life as far as offering a solution? You know, that's why I asked you initially, who is Quadree Burden? I'm not just saying the name. I mean, as far as a
Quadree
person.
Burden is the guy who's out there every day, still in the cold, in the trenches, uh, you know. But I'm out there today to like hopefully help somebody get out the cold.
Hmm.
I happen to be a certified peer specialist, um, and I go out. I do outreach work in the community, um, and I work with individuals who suffer with not only SUD, OUD, mental health issues, homelessness, uh, and I deal with individuals who just don't got no hope, right? And um, and a lot of times I just go out and I try to just get them a word of inspiration, offer them a resource to get off the street, like treatment or uh, some sort of shelter or a program that may be able to, help them with housing. Uh, we offer. Uh, I, I happen to work for an agency where we offer services like we help them get IDs. There's a lot of barriers, right? A lot of people aren't on the street because they want to be on the street. A lot of people
Want to
are on the
be
street
right.
because they got barriers, man. You know, they don't have ID. They can't identify themselves, right? In a lot of
Yeah.
places, if you can't identify yourself, they won't admit
At all.
you. You
Yeah.
can't even get to a shelter sometimes without an ID.
Some places a lot of
Sad,
places you can't even get
sad, but
treatment. You can't.
true.
Yeah.
Get treatment, right, right, right. So what we help with is uh, actually steering them. Not only we get them an ID, it's a temporary ID, uh, but it's and then we also uh, connect them with another agency, uh, which I'll talk about, the Friendship House, who are
Yeah.
offering $5 ID. All you got to do is show up, and they guide you through. the process of paying $5 for an ID. So instead of having to pay $25, right? I think it's up to 40. It's going to go up to 40, as a matter of fact.
It's 40. Yeah,
You
it
pay,
is.
yeah, you pay $5. Uh, and this program, a lot of people don't know about it.
What is the
When
Friendship House? What is the Friendship House? I mean, for
Friendship
people
House
that
is a program out of Wilmington. Uh, it has been around for quite some time. It is a community advocacy program that actually helps advocate for individuals. It helps them it's a voice for the voiceless, man. You know, it does a lot of things for a lot of people, as far as housing, uh, you know, helping with resources like utilities and other things. There's some people who aren't homeless but are in the cold. We need to
and
talk
still need
about those folks too.
it.
Because there's a lot of folks that aren't on drugs, that haven't uh, spent their last $5 on the next one. They spent their last $5 to feed the children in the house, and maybe they went without a meal, but then there was no room for kerosene. It was either let me feed my children or get some kerosene for the night. Now
That's
we live in a social. Go ahead.
I
I'm
talked
sorry.
about that. I talked about that on another episode about, it's not always about substance use. Sometimes that's why I love the part about life chat, entitling this life chat, because we just talk about life, because it's not always about the chemical, not always about the substance. Sometimes situations are just what situations are. Living everyday life sometimes can be just as that. It can be just as serious as substance use. Substance use is just they say it's just a symptom, but sometimes it's life, like you just mentioned about having to, just struggling on a daily basis, whether do you have to feed your children, or do you want to get kerosene? That's a serious thing. But go ahead though.
Manage your life on life terms, especially when you're placed in a socioeconomic situation that you're already paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum wage being what it is definitely not a living wage. For you can't pay rent if you work for minimum wage. You can't pay rent to that and feed a family and put gas in your car to go to work.
Gas in the car.
I mean, we talking about real simple things, right? That should be just like, well, why can't? And then you have individuals who say, well, I don't know why. Uh, Johnny must Johnny must be doing something because he keep asking me to borrow $10.
Instead of just remembering that life is going to do what life is going to do.
Life is going to do what life is going to do. Now, listen. Let me tell you the funny part about how I deal with some people, man, that are so prideful, right? Even being in the street, I'll say to them, well, how about if I could get you somewhere for a couple of nights and just, and they'll say no, man.
Yeah.
They'll say no. They'll say no. I'm stay out here. I'm okay. And the reason behind that, let's talk about the trauma. Let's talk about the trauma that they've experienced going inside sometimes some of these facilities, these shelters,
Judgment.
the judgment, the abuse.
A lot of that goes on in these places that people don't even
A lot of
talk
that
about.
goes on in places, man. A lot of that, and we're working on that. Like we're working on reform in those areas, man. But again, we're talking about a process that took. It didn't happen overnight, and it's not going to be solved overnight. But if we keep talking about it, And if we keep showing up and we keep emphasizing that these things need to change, right? Uh, some change is going to come about. It's going to have to come about
Mm.
because people are going to make it clear that they're not standing for it. You know, it's funny.
At
Like,
the end,
go ahead.
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we have to remember we all have a family. We all have family members. If it's not, and I say this all the time, if it's not me in the situation, I have a cousin or a brother or a sister or aunt or somebody in my family or somebody I'm close to, or just somebody in general. Let's just say
Right.
that's gonna suffer or deal with some type of traumatic experience where it ultimately affects us as a whole. So if you ever, if anybody has any type of sympathy, remorse, just a caring heart in any type of way, caring for humanity, then we're gonna try to do something about it.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't do anything about it because we don't know about it, because a lot of times we don't even, it's not being voiced.
Right. 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 There are some very good programs and people out here, man. Trying to help with individuals who are experiencing these traumatic experiences. Being homeless is a traumatic experience, not only
Extremely.
for an adult, but how about the baby?
The babies, yeah. Whole families, and
Whole families, man. Uh, Listen, I had a guy. We'll call him Mr. Smith, who called me and said, "Mr. Burden, I was told to give you a call because I have a job. I was I was told I had to move out of my apartment. Um, he wasn't evicted. He had to move because the building was being sold. He wasn't evicted. I don't know how this happened. I didn't even know this was legal. With two children, and they had been living in a car. He says, I have a full-time job, but I don't make enough money according to them, according to the landlords that I've been going to. I don't make enough money to qualify for these apartments. So where's the affordable housing? Where's the now we helped this young man, and what we did, we gave him some instruction, and we met him where he was at. We asked him what he wanted to do. See, we can't tell people what to do.
what they
We
have to
can
do. Yeah.
ask we can ask them, how can I help you? There are some individuals who, as soon as you come in and start saying, well, this you're going to do this, and you're going, they automatically.
Not gonna
That's just like, you remember Charlie Brown, the cartoon Charlie Brown, and the teachers would be
Of course I do,
talking,
man.
and the wah 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 wah, because that's what they hear.
Absolutely.
That's what they hear when you start telling them.
I know that from firsthand experience.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know that
yeah,
from first experience. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So now we're meeting individuals where they're at, right? And this young man is in a better place now, man. Because not only did we help him, and listen, I'm not saying it's always going to be that way. Every time, what I don't want to get on here and say is like we got the solution for everybody. Because it's just
No,
not that simple.
that's not. Yeah.
It's hard. They say it's hard out here in the paint. It's hard out here trying to meet everyone where they're at. Um, but it's so fulfilling that I don't want to do nothing else.
Especially when you see that one. That was always been my
Yeah,
thing. Like when I used to work in the field, when I used to work in mental health and substance abuse in that field, And homelessness is included. They're all intertwined. All
all
that
the
goes
time.
together. And to that one,
Yeah,
to get that one individual, one client, or that one person. I'm just gonna say one person that really that wants it and that goes after it, and you see them reach for it and grab it, and they go get that. They get their apartment, or they get the car, or they get the job, or they get the license back. All that type of stuff. That's for me. That was like made me feel accomplished because they felt accomplished.
absolutely.
And that's just one person. That's just one individual. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to sit up here.
And people have a misconception of homelessness. People think homelessness is just the individual who's sleeping in a tent in the park, or sleeping on the bench, or sleeping in the woods. And that's not the case today. That's just not the case. We we say transition. But people, listen, and it's my own personal experience, right? And I didn't believe I was homeless neither, but I was like couch surfing. I didn't have
Yeah,
a full time address, right?
yeah, that's
Uh,
homeless. That's homeless. Yeah,
homeless.
that is
I'm
homeless.
homeless.
Yeah,
Even if I'm sleeping inside, that's homeless.
yeah.
And there, and we try to make those individuals aware of the same resources that we're offering individuals who are in the street, because there's educational programs, man. The Department of Labor right now is signing people up uh, for if you don't have your GED, they have a program that'll actually pay you
To get
and
to.
help you to get your GED.
He said it one more time because somebody might need to see this or hear this later. When people watch this later, somebody might need to see. Somebody need to hear this.
The Department of Labor has a program, uh, and all you got to do, you can go online, you Google it, or you can go to, down to the Department of Labor. Has a program in which they offer you the opportunity and pay for everything. You
Your
don't have to pay
book,
for nothing. Every,
laptop.
yes, all you got to do is show up and put the work in. Now you do have to do something. You have to put the work in, and that and
That's
that
yeah.
and that in itself is where the rubber meets the road. Um, because and this has always been my thing. And I tell a lot of folks this, and it's not being harsh, it's just being honest. Because like I said, I come from the same place a lot of them come from. If I'm investing more time into you and into what's going on with you than you are, something's wrong.
Something definitely wrong. Something definitely wrong.
Something's wrong.
Because you want
And
now you
not
want me to
because
you
I'm better
want me to do
than,
the work.
not because I'm better than, but I may be a little better off today and only today. Because
Mhm.
like, listen, 70 to 80% of Americans, man, I'm talking about Americans, are one paycheck away from home.
One. I mentioned that the other
One
day. I
paycheck.
mentioned that like is anybody if your house burned down today, do you have that 6 month cushion
You
to
have
sustain you?
insurance, right? Do you have things that 6 months to sustain you in case
Hmm.
you go through something with the insurance company?
And most of us can't say
Most
that.
of us don't have
And,
insurance.
yeah,
Most of us
yeah,
don't have the 6 months because we live in paycheck to paycheck.
yeah,
We live paycheck to paycheck.
yeah.
And that's okay because we're getting through. Uh, we're we're strong individuals out here. I call us resilient. I call us
That's without
resilient.
that's doing
We,
that's without
yeah,
the
yeah.
finances and all and the education. That's without that.
That's
That's when you're resilient.
resilient.
That's when you. Resilience.
get something, make something out of nothing, man. You know. See, like I was born, man, and I was raised, like I know how to live off of eating vegetarian beans. Like I
Mm.
know how to live off of, you know what I'm saying?
Instant noodles.
Like Titan Bell and like I said, vegetarian beans. I didn't say no meat. I said just some
Mm-hmm.
vegetarian beans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look, that doesn't make life any easier today, man. Listen, um, I work hard. Uh, I decided to um, make some decisions that will be positive not only for myself but for my family. Uh, you know, and lo and behold, now I help others come into that same frame of mind on most given days that they're going to do the same thing for them. Uh, you know, and that's all. Like you said a little earlier, if you could just touch one person, right? If you see just that one person that you know you touch, and and you offer something to, and you see them thriving,
From that, yeah.
you know, like your work is not going in vain. So I don't become discouraged. I stay encouraged, right? And on them cold, it was cold today.
It's cold right
It
now.
was extremely cold today.
Uh,
And me and my partner was out there in the street, uh, seeing individuals, checking on folks, making sure that they know where to go and get blankets. They know where to go and get a meal. They know where to go and sign up. Uh, let's talk about health issues. Let's talk about that. Let's talk
but
about individuals and healthcare.
not making doctor's appointments, not having the proper paperwork, not having your insurance card, not having your medical
Not
card,
having
not being
insurance.
able to make it to the doctor, not getting transportation, medical transportation.
But how about if I told you every day of the week there's a mobile unit in the Kent and Sussex County area. It's called Health to Go. Is it is a, it's funded by Department of Human Services, Public Department of Public Health, right? And they come out and they send nurses out and they check. Uh, they give you COVID tests. They give you flu shots. They give you COVID shots. They check you for diabetes. They check you for high blood pressure. They help you with wound care. They help you with a plethora of things for free. You don't have to have an insurance card. You don't have to have anything. All you have to do is show up and get in line, and they will see you.
And this is
And
where, what is it?
this is it's with the Department of Public Health. If you go on the Department of Public Health website, uh, if you look at it says Health to Go. It's a mobile unit that shows up in a lot of different neighborhoods, a lot of different communities on any given day. And this is in all three counties. This is not just Newcastle County or Kent County or Sussex County. This is in all three counties. Every day there are units. They have a unit for each county, and they show up at a different space Monday through Friday generally, um, and give people tests, test them for different things, diabetes, help you. Uh, Bridge clinic will help individuals who can't get to their medications, give them free medication. So, yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So like the Bridge Clinic, another entity which is of under DSAM, right, which is Department of Substance Abuse and Mental Health, but it's also under the public health system, right, and human services. What they're offering, a lot of times is uh, if you have a doctor's appointment, uh, and you don't have transportation, sometimes the Bridge Clinic can help you. They'll come and get you and take you to that appointment.
Is it just
Take
is it each county?
each
Is
county,
that
every county in the state, every county in the state has a team from the Bridge Clinic that is willing to help. They also have from DSAM, Kent County, uh, Newcastle County, and Sussex County. It's a new entity of DSAM. It's called the Post Overdose Response Team. And they help individuals with services uh, like I said, ID, signing up for Medicaid, signing up for, uh, financial assistance, uh, signing up for schooling. They're giving information. They're helping you get your get with the Bridge Clinic to get your medication. Um, so like there's agencies who are working together now, right, to help these individuals, right. And as long as we continue to do that, um, we might have some success. And I'm seeing some success. I'm seeing some people, man, that who generally wouldn't get the help that are getting the help. Uh, but we got
why
to reach more.
you said they generally probably wouldn't get help, and when you say they wouldn't get the help, what do you mean?
What I
Why
mean
would you?
is because they don't know of it. Because they don't know.
Okay. All right. All right.
And if you don't know, a lot of times you just accept where you are. You re- there's a
And make the
difference
best
between
make the best
resignation.
situation.
There's a difference between resignation and surrender. Surrender is where I accept where I am and know that the best decision for me is to surrender. When I resign myself, I'm just giving up. It's just over. I resign myself to say like, that's it. Ain't no more.
When you throw,
This
is
is
that
what
when
it's
you
going
throw?
to be.
Is that when you throw in the towel? Is that when you throw in the towel, or is that when you just
Throwing the towel.
when
This
you
is what it's
recognize?
going to be. This is what it's going to be, and oh well. And I'm gonna just do whatever I got to do to not feel what I'm feeling right now.
So that's another form. That's just going back into survival mode.
Going back into survival mode. Absolutely. Because we and that's because these people have been doing it for so long that it's just second nature to continue to stay into survival mode. And that's
Yeah.
all you know. That's what you're gonna do. When you don't, and when so many people have let you down, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the folks who show up with the empty promises. They come out, they
Yeah.
give them a couple meals, and they tell them, "Oh, we're gonna do this for you, and we're gonna do that for you," and then you never see them again.
It's gonna be all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Like some a lot of times we don't want to
But
hear
you're
that,
not
man.
following up. You're not following up with that individual.
Yeah.
You're not checking on that individual. You're not seeing where that individual, how they doing today.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people look at it as their good deed for the day. That is
For
so
the day.
that's one of the
And I'm not
craziest
saying there's
things.
nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that because at least you put forth the effort. But what
Putting
about the
forth
rest
effort.
of the? What about the rest of the days?
Yeah.
You know, that's just my thing. But I don't want to get all hyped up because I get all hyped up on it. I might just go off. I don't
Yeah,
want to do that. I don't
so,
want to do that.
yeah.
But can you before we close out, and thank you too, Quadree, but can you before we close out, can you just give us a little more information about what iron sharpens iron, right?
Okay. So
what does iron sharpens iron means to you? I know what it means to me, and I'm gonna give mine and you give yours.
Okay. Iron sharpens iron to me, it means when I connect, like you and I, when we met, right? It was something about your spirit that attracted me to you, right? And I was comfortable with you being in my home. I was comfortable with you being, in my space.
Around
And,
that good
and
barbecue.
yeah. and I was, we was having, we had some conversation and we talked and I was like, I like that brother, I want to learn more about that brother. I want to spend more time. So my thing is, iron sharpens iron is that at that point you was in a place of just uh, accepting doing some different things, right? And I identified with that. So we I think we even talked about that a little bit, right? And iron sharpening iron is not, again, it's not telling somebody what to do. It's just offering your experience, uh, your strength, and even some hope that if I can do it, you can do it too. And this is not what maybe you have to do, but this is what I did, and this is how it worked for me. Now it may not work for you, but maybe you can try it this way. And if it doesn't, then we'll try to find something else. Uh, there are people who have information who don't want to share the information.
Want to share it.
That's not iron sharpening iron. We have to share this information, man. Give back what was freely given to us. Because this is free information. It ain't costing nobody. It's not costing me a dime right now to sit here and tell you guys what's out there and what's being offered by the federal government that's been there. And listen, and that the sad part is sometimes because it's public information, a lot of times a lot of different agencies will say, well, we offered it. It's been there.
At all.
I don't want to get myself in no trouble, so I'm
I get it.
I'm
I get it though.
gonna stop there.
I get it.
But you understand what I'm saying? And this is how iron sharpens iron. When we show up on podcasts like yours, Derek, like Life Chat, and we show up and we start talking about what's happening, what's going on, and how we can help one another. That's iron sharpening. That's my definition of iron sharpening iron.
I think sometimes we as people, thank you, Quadree, but I think we as people, we look for the huge response. Something that's going to be something's going to be over the top. When it's just, it's right here. It's right here. We're looking for something way over here, and it's right here. Like iron sharpening iron. Like your definition might be the same as somebody else's. Who knows? Your definition might be different than somebody else's. Who knows? But that's what the purpose of That's where individuality comes in, right? For me, iron sharpening iron is basically the same thing. It's along those lines. If I have information, I don't even want to say knowledge. I want to say if I've experienced something and I share this with you, I can explain to you. For example, a 17-year-old kid, is going down the wrong path. And I recognize this because I've been down the same road. I've been down the same path. So I'm explaining to him what's going to happen if he does this, or this. What's going to happen if you pull this trigger? What can you expect? How much time are you looking at if you get caught? How are you going to feel? You have to carry this for the rest of your life. How are you going to feel when you see this other person's family members? How are you going to, those experiences? Because I've been there, I've done these things. So I'm explaining to you, not telling you, but I'm explaining to you what the consequences are going to be, what the consequences were for me. So there's a chance that you're probably going to face these consequences as well if you do these same things. So for me, that's what iron sharpening iron is. Iron sharpening iron is. Iron sharpening iron is sharing your experience and sharing what's, also giving the consequence, which would be, in the middle of all that, there's a solution. The solution in the middle of all that is find another way to do what you're doing, or don't do it at all.
Come on, bro. That's right.
Honestly.
Yeah. And I just want to say one thing about the young men. These young men today. And I'm gonna take accountability for myself. I work with youth now and also, but we dropped the ball. I dropped the ball. I know I dropped the ball. I can't talk about nobody else, but I know I dropped the ball. But I'm doing something about it, man. I'm picking it back up, and I'm trying to, like you say, iron sharpens iron. I'm trying to bring them back in, because they lost right now. A lot of young men out here that are lost because they have no guidance. They had nobody to guide them.
Except the streets, except the street.
Yeah. And we all know how that turned out. I know how it turned out for me. I know how it turned out for me, and I know how it turned out for, a plethora of others. And it doesn't have to be that way for these young men. It doesn't have to be that way for these young men. But that's another show.
That's a whole nother topic that's coming up. Yeah. That's coming up within the next couple of weeks, actually. But yeah, it's another. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, it is. It really is. But okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. Quadree, thank you, Mr. Quadree Burden. Thank you for being on tonight. Thank you, everybody else. Thank you, everybody, all the viewers, the listeners, the people that will watch the show later on this evening or whenever you have the opportunity. Thank you for supporting Live Chat. I appreciate you. Enjoy. Good night.
Welcome to the Life Chat Podcast, seeking the truth with Derek Powell, navigating you through every Wednesday night. New topics ignite. Join the journey. Let's take flight. Bringing insights that change our view. Derek's voice, clear and true. Tune in each week, discover new light. Life Chat Podcast, reach a new height.